Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of High Energy Girl. And today's amazing guest is the beautiful Rosie Mercado, who wrote The Girl with Self-Esteem Issues and is considered one of People Magazine's top 25 most powerful Latinas. So let's go say hello to Rosie. Hey everyone, welcome to High Energy Girl, a podcast helping women to age stronger because it is never too late to get fit, be strong, and feel sexy. I'm your host, Tracy Gluhide, health coach and personal trainer and founder of highenergygirl.com. Each week, we will either have a guest interview, which will provide you encouragement or an actionable tip to help you age stronger, or I will do a solo episode. Please also join our awesome Facebook group called High Energy Girls, and I'm looking forward to see you on the inside of that group and hope you enjoy today's show. Give a woman a fish, feed her for a day. Teach a woman to fish, feed her for a lifetime. Teach a woman to teach a woman to fish, end world hunger. Have you ever wanted to help people improve their health journey? Have you thought about coaching people with a keto lifestyle? Would you like to become an integrative health coach? Well, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, or IIN as we call it, is the largest nutrition school in the country. And in 2011, I graduated from their program and became a health coach. It was completely awesome. We learned over 100 different dietary theories and talk about craziness and confusion. My wish for you is that we can lock arms and create a tribe of health coaches all around the country, all around the world to spread the keto message. If this resonates with you and you would like to look into this option deeper, please go to my blog at highenergygirl.com and click on the link to the right of the homepage. Here you can grab the curriculum guide and see if it inspires you. Since I care so much about my listeners, I negotiated the very best tuition rate for you at IIN. Either you can contact them directly and give them my name, or I will introduce you to a counselor so you can decide if this is a good fit for you and your career goals. Let me know how I can support you in this coaching career opportunity. Hey, Rosie, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be able to chat with someone so empowering. I was just talking about how much I love your background. It's so inspiring to constantly read that. So it's good to have a room like that you could walk in and just feel empowered.
Oh yeah, girl power. That's the way it goes. So, well, for the listeners that don't know you, why don't you let us know a little bit about yourself?
I am a powerful Latina, a mama, a wife. I'm a life coach, and I am here to share with you now. I'm an author, to sharing my memoir, The Girl with Self-Esteem Issues, where I'm just inviting women to own who they are, step into their greatness, not let their past dictate their future, not the number on the scale dictate their potential, and just know that life lessons, failure is just an indicating point of what's not working. We got to move on, find momentum, and not let that define our life.
And how did you get so empowered? Like, let's go back and hear how you became who you are with that powerful mojo.
I think life lessons, the darkest moments gave me the strength to really get up and find out how much I can stretch and how much I could grow, and not being a victim of my circumstances, whether it was my 3 divorces, having a cyst in my brain, failure of business, failing in parenthood at some point, because nobody gives you a manual on how to parent your kids. Like, you have to deal with your emotions and then figure out these little ones, what they need. And, and then dealing with heartbreak along the way, weight gain, weight loss. I mean, there's just so many things, so many triggers that I've gone through. And I think just acknowledging, you get to a point where you get sick and tired of that. You're like, at some point, I got to take responsibility for my life. I'm in charge of my destiny. I'm in charge of what's happening. And the only thing I can control is my emotional state and my mind and my body and my soul. Like, that's the only thing I have control over. Everything else, there's nothing I could do. So I had to step into doing the work of healing, which was number one, and then asking the quality questions. Why did I go through all these divorces? Why did I allow these relationships to stay longer than they should have? Why didn't I respect myself enough to say no, thank you? Why did I go through emotional eating and eat my way through my depression, and then come to a place where I gained so much weight that there was moments that I was happy, and then there was moments that I was my own worst critic, my own worst bully of just body shaming myself. I mean, that internal voice plays a number on you. And just coming to a place where life has to be better than this. Like, I deserve more. My life can just end like this. This is it. This is all I get. and just turning it into a round of what story am I telling myself? The story I was
Mm.
telling myself was what everybody was telling me, that I was too fat. I wasn't worthy. Girl, you got divorced and married way too many times. Nobody's going to love you with 3 kids and being divorced that many times. You're Latina, you're fat. Get over it. Like you're never going to make it in TV. You're never going to make it as a model. You're too old. Get over it. You could have done it before you got married. Like it's done. It's over with. So thinking that every opportunity comes your way and you hold on to it with dear life, thinking this is my last chance. Like, no. At the age of 20, you could reinvent yourself. At the age of 30 or 40, you could reinvent yourself. At the age of 50 or 60, you could create something amazing and reinvent yourself. It's not about age. It's not about the number on the scale. It's not about your past. It's about the decision that you get to step into and just really step into your potential and your strength and understand that you're worthy of creating anything, and that those moments of adversity, you can use them to push you forward, propel you.
Oh yeah. So how long ago did you hit that like little tipping point where you were like enough is enough?
You know what? This was exactly, now it's going to be 12 years. I was the age of 28. I had just gotten divorced. It was my third marriage, and 28 and 3 marriages. That for me was, to say that number, that for me was mind blowing. And coming from a culture that values marriage so much, and it's like this whole thing around marriage, you don't get divorced. And going through so much physical, emotional, and verbal abuse, knowing that I knew that if I stayed there, number one, I was gonna pass away. Two, I was miserable and feeling insecure that nobody else was gonna love me, and that was it for my life. And then just finding that finally I get the strength to leave, and then I find that I have a cyst in my brain, and I'm at my heaviest. I'm between 380 pounds, 420, going back and forth. And then now I no longer could speak properly, and now I have a brain cyst, and I can't walk properly, and I'm on seizure medication and other medication that I would just sleep. And then you think life is really throwing a brick at me. Like I am on my knees. Like it can't, like I'm rock bottom. Where else can I go? Where else can I go? And just having that strength from my father of saying, you could cry along the way. Your voice matters. Your story matters. You got to fight. Look for an answer. Don't give up. Don't give up for yourself, and don't give up for your kids. And just having that voice just constantly there and telling me. And at some point you wake up and you're like, yeah, I have to fight for my life. Like this can't be it. Like this is it. I want more. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. And just that was the moment where I realized I have to do something. Like I have to do something. And I think life, Oprah says it best. Life throws little pebbles, then little rocks, and then life will throw you a brick if you're not listening, and wakes you up. And I love when she says that, because that's exactly what happened to me. And it was a wake up call to come to gratitude and appreciate every morning that I woke up with breath, and understand the meaning that there was purpose to my life, that the revelation will come later, but that I had to take personal responsibility. I had to do something. I had to seek the healing. Nobody else could do it for me. My parents told me that we'll hold your hand, but we can't do the work for you. We love you. They never criticized me. They were just there throughout the process, holding my hand and always pushing me forward. And I mean, I had a great upbringing. There's nobody to blame, but bad decisions in some part, and other things that I couldn't control in partners. I had no choice, just the hunger to keep going.
So what'd you do first? I mean, that's a lot piled on you, living in a bad situation, being that overweight. I mean, you don't look like you've ever been overweight. And then having the brain tumor. What'd you do first?
I think the first thing is about self-care and self-love. That's the first thing. Like everything is seasonal, and I had to give that moment in my life a different story. All right, relationships are gone. Now it's like I'm being forced to look inward, to look into what's going on inside of me. And that taught me the lesson that everything that was manifesting, like the body will follow what the mind thinks. So everything was manifesting. And where did it manifest? In my brain, because I was internalizing. My thoughts were internalizing. I was my own worst critic. That voice that makes you second guess yourself, that you're too fat, the cellulite, like your ass is too big, your hips are too big, nobody's gonna ever love you. Like you hear that voice. That's a real voice. Everybody has that voice, and it gets to you sometimes and can hold you back. But the moment where you can step in and say, I hear you, stop, shut up. And I don't care if I have to vocalize that, and then give it direction, and then I'm worthy, I'm lovable. My past doesn't dictate my future. I am in control of my emotions and my feelings. I'm faithfully guided to come to that place and then start really taking decisions, making decisions based off of, all right, I need to get healthy and there's no way in hell that I'm going to let them cut into my head. That's number one. So what do? I traveled and I looked for different ways to find healing. And it led to eating healthier, not living by a diet, but living by a lifestyle, finding myself, finding my spirituality, finding my faith, understanding what it was to love myself, and understanding the importance of letting go of toxicity in my life, being able to stand up and say no.
That is fantastic. So you basically healed your brain tumor holistically? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, holistically.
Was it glial cell blastoma by chance, or what was it?
You know what? I went to the MRI. They showed me the image of my cyst, and basically they put me on seizure medication and other kinds of medication that I would just sleep. And from there, I decided not to go back because automatically the solution was to cut into my brain. And I decided I need to find something natural because I was scared. They're like, there's two ways. You could end up like, we just have to go in there. We got to pop it, clean it up. You could get it right back. But there's always the risk of surgery. It's in a crazy spot. We don't know if you're not going to be able to walk. Something could happen. And I said, well, that doesn't really look like there's really not a good outcome out of that. And that scared the hell out of me. So I decided to knock on doors and I went to look for chelation treatments, vitamin C treatments. I started healing my body by juicing, eating lots of greens, vitamins. Like there's just a lot of things that worked for me, but I went in search of, I went knocking on doors and listening to what my body was telling me. So I healed my body holistically.
Fantastic. So my dad had cancer 5 times. And so my whole focus, and my mom has Alzheimer's. So my whole focus in life is helping women not get those, or, like help prevent their body from that stuff but my tagline on my book is love yourself to health. So
I love that. You know what it is? Because loving yourself to health is so important, because everything, like, if you are living unhealthy, your life is chaos or so much problems, that all stems from self-love, and it's a reflection of what's going on in your spirit and your soul. It reflects everywhere. It really does reflect everywhere. And the moment you start putting order in your thoughts, your mind, in the way you criticize yourself, in the way your self-talk, everything that you do, you just start seeing how opportunities start aligning, your relationships start getting healthier. You start being inspired to want to go on walks. It's not just about working out. It's about doing things that make you feel peaceful and happy, and a way to release those negative emotions, those stressors. And that when you eat, you're putting food into your body to serve as vitality and energy and fuel to take care of the vessel that you're given to live life with purpose. For me, it's not being a certain size or a certain number. It's just knowing that day by day, I'm making the conscious decision to become better, and that it is a day-by-day process. It's a daily choice. And understanding that, am I eating because I'm stressed out, because I'm hungry, because I'm dehydrated? Like, asking those quality questions for me was really important. Yeah. And why am I eating this? Like, why am I eating this? Why? Because when I would get depressed, I would go to food as a source of that's what that would make me feel. It was just that. And then 30 minutes later, why did I eat that? This is why you're fat. Now you're gaining weight. Look at your body. Like, you did it again. You failed at it again. And that's not a healthy lifestyle. That really creeps up on you at some point. It makes you unhappy. And when you're unhappy, you don't make the best decisions. You really don't.
Yeah, it's that inner critic. So we have the inner critic, the inner ego, the intuition, inner child. All 4 of those pieces. Yeah. Have you heard this already? So that inner critic is always like beating you up, right? So we want to listen to the intuition, which I believe is like the Holy Spirit inside of us that's feeding us what we need to follow. That always has our back, whereas all the other 3, they're just like all selfish and into themselves. So,
well, if we were guided more by spirit, and when you're guided by spirit, it's that feeling of you shouldn't do that, and you're like, I'm going to do it. You shouldn't eat that. You're not going to feel that good afterwards. I'm going to eat it anyways. You shouldn't accept that. You should let him go. Like, that's not the right person for you. And there's a sense of knowing, you're paying attention, like something feels off. That is your spirit. That is your angel telling you, hello, red flag, pay attention.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important as human beings that we tap into that power of really listening to our body, to our soul, and really being able to learn to make the difference between spirit and ego. I think that for me is so, so important, because I know when my ego is playing a number. Because when your ego is playing a number, it's no longer about how you're serving or what you're doing. It's all about you. And when spirit pops in, it really is about protecting you and guiding you of how can you live a life that's a lot happier, more abundant, more healthy, and how can you be of service to others? And there's this inner alarm that we have, and that's our spirit telling us, don't go there. That's where it's taking you to these moments of, hold on, you could have avoided that. The red flags were there, but you decided to go against spirit. And there is a price to pay for success, and there's celebration for that, and there's a price to pay for failure, and it's a learning lesson. But spirit is constantly with us. Are you willing to listen?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, like, I coach people to meditate, because we pray and we ask, but when do we ever stop and just listen?
You got to download that download of meditation. And I think also the great thing about meditation is when you sit in silence, it really teaches you to look inward. What are the thoughts? What are the voices? I mean, when you sit there and just nothing, just sit there and you just let the thoughts flow to come to this mental state where you're really releasing and you're being able to connect, you really get to pay attention to those things and those distractions. And then you look at the distraction and like, all right, how many times does that pop up through the day? How many times does this voice tell me the same thing over and over? You're too fat, or that criticism. And being able to say, shh, 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 calm down, shut up. I'm going to replace that negativity with a positive voice. With that, I'm going to be spirit led. And I think that's so important when it comes to meditation. Yeah. And it's healthy.
So how did you lose all that weight? I mean, that's a lot of weight to lose.
It is. I think it starts, number one, it starts by understanding why you're going to do a transformation. Any transformation that happens on the outside first has to happen on the inside. And it starts with healing. You got to heal. You got to let go of the pain. And I know it sounds easy. It is a lot of work that is so worth it, because the moment that you could talk about past traumas and triggers in a sense that you're no longer crying, you know that's part of it, you've healed it. And the best way to heal is to talk. The best way to heal is to learn. Feed your soul, feed your mind, feed your heart, positivity, things that will help you grow. Always being in a humble place of being a student and willing to learn from other people's experiences. I think it's important. Reading, listening to podcasts, and self-care is so important. Doing things that make your soul happy, whether it's dancing, singing, going out and walking, taking time to be alone, connecting with people that you love, but that love you in a right way back, not in a toxic way, people that you could be vulnerable with that won't use your vulnerability against you. I think it's so important to have that, and being inspired, knowing that you have power in your voice, but it starts with healing, doing the work.
Yeah. And that is a really good one. It starts on the inside. So what would you say, how long did it take you to get where you are now? Like, how long was that healing journey with the brain issue, the weight issue?
Well, I'm 40. I'm 40 now, and the brain cyst happened at the age of 28. And I'm proud to say that I am 40. I am living my best life at the age of 40, and I've had so many life lessons. But it's taken several years, because there's the moment of healing, and then you step into self-discovery. You get to discover who you are and find what your purpose and your mission, and then you learn to say no gracefully. Like, you know what? I'm not even going to entertain that. Like, no, thank you. I can move on without anger, without judgment. It's just, no. You're able to step in that strength of saying no. And then you're able to step into to understanding what love really is. So it's definitely an inner journey that you do. And for me, it really started off with healing. It's been several years, understanding my triggers and being able to work with them, because we all have triggers, and something might say something so simple to us that maybe in the past it's something that we were told and it hurt us, and we react. And sometimes everybody's like, whoa, why are you so mad? And when that pops up, that's spirit saying, hello, we have some healing to do. We have some work. And I think having the strength just to be honest with you and walk in authenticity. Oh my goodness, walking in authenticity. We're so afraid of being criticized and judged and rejected. We feel that if we're authentic with our stories and who we are and what we've been through, people are going to criticize. We're not going to be lovable anymore. We're not worthy anymore. And that's not true.
Yeah. You're more relatable.
You know what? I think it just creates a connection. And if people are judging you and using vulnerability, then they shouldn't be in your life. If they're giving you constructive criticism where you can grow, those are the people you want to keep around, because you need that equally as much. But if it's about stepping into who you are and, you know what, making your own story, not taking other people's story and making it your own.
That's awesome. Yeah. So what are some of your favorite daily routines?
Oh my God, self-care for daily routine. For me, I do prayer. Like I do prayer, and I do prayer every morning. That for me is really important. A simple prayer for me is, God, use me. And I feel like I have a sense of not only protection, but I'm living with purpose in whatever I do. Wherever I go, I feel that I'm faithfully guided. So prayer for me is really important. The second one is affirmations. I'm faithfully guided. There's purpose in my life. I'm attracting everything that I need right now. Speaking life into my present and my future. The past is gone. There's nothing I could do. I could only learn from it and grow, but I can't stay stuck. I choose not to stay stuck. I am who I am today because of what I've learned from the past, and my past doesn't dictate my future. It just propels me forward. And the next thing is listening to music. I think there's so much power in listening to music and movement in your body, and just understanding that you could change your state in an instant. Listening to music for me is something so powerful. And then working on the things that I absolutely love, that make me happy. What burns your passion, what really captures your heart and your attention. I love listening to podcasts. I love reading. And I really push that because I think it's so important to constantly educate ourselves, to create momentum in our life. And sometimes you never know what you listen to or you read that it sparks an interest, a new idea, a new goal. And it takes you into this path that you're like, wow, I never thought that I'd be going through this or I'd become this person. And I think it's wonderful to be able to see transformations. I am the queen of transformation. I love transformations, and I love helping people out through that transformation, being an invitation to step into your greatness.
Oh, that's fantastic. So what is your book about? Tell us about your book.
Oh my goodness, my book is a memoir. It's about divorces and how we view failures. It's about those dark moments that we find ourselves feeling fat, ugly, unmotivated, that we feel rejected, that we feel that we're only failing, that we feel depressed, lonely, that we don't feel that we fit in. I know what that feels like, and I talk about that in the book, and how to overcome that and get to the other side, how to find the healing, why forgiveness is important, what forgiveness does in our life, how to transform the thoughts, and how to really attain those goals and manifest them into a reality. And everything that I've gone through has been a life lesson, taking the shame out of failure and giving it a different story. And that for me is walking into my authenticity, walking into who I am, and just being grateful for every single moment and letting things go with love.
Love that.
If you need some inspiration, the girl with self-esteem issues, everybody in their life, man or woman, we've all dealt with. We're human beings. We've all dealt with some form of self-esteem issue in different areas of our life. We all have triggers, and we're placed on this earth to really be able to connect with other human beings. At the core, we just want to be loved.
So do you still ever experience self-esteem issues?
I think there's triggers that pop up all the time. I've learned to navigate my triggers. I've learned to acknowledge my triggers. I do not suppress them. And when they come up, I always ask, where's that coming from? And I start doing the inner work of saying, take a breather, do not react, figure where this is coming from, and self-love, self-respect, and acknowledging that there's something going on and working through it, being able to do that work. And I really feel that that's where the growth is at. And I think we become better and better into tuning into spirit, figuring our triggers. And as long as we have the willingness to work through it, then we will create the life that we deserve, that we're worthy of. Everything in life is a reflection of our thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Our thoughts lead to emotions, and our emotions lead to actions. It's funny that you just said that, because like one of my things is when I get that trigger, my mantra is, for God loves a cheerful giver. And it gets me out of that state, because then I make it, okay, this isn't about me. So
yeah, I think if so many times we could get into that and just understand, just like you said, understanding that trigger, and there again, you're giving it direction. You're like, all right, let's shift this. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. And just a lot of people don't know that number one, we don't acknowledge that the trigger's happening. We just react. Second of all, we suppress it because either we don't want to deal with it, we don't know that it's going on, or we're ashamed to acknowledge it because, oh Lord, God forbid that I take responsibility for that. And then some people just really like to play the victim. You have to be honest with your honesty is really important. Some people thrive on being a victim, or they thrive on drama. And you have to acknowledge when those people come into your life and just say thank you, but no thank you. I wish you well. I send you love. And you have to really think you have to learn to be present. And when you become present, I just feel that life just gets better and you're able to deal with these emotions when they come on. Life is a roller coaster. There's ups, let's celebrate those victories. And when there's downs, let's learn from the lessons.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that. And
Thank
tell
you.
us about like your show and everything.
You know what? I absolutely. So I just launched my podcast a couple weeks ago. So it's The Girl with Self-Esteem Issues. It's in English and in Spanish. I'm so grateful that I get to honor my Latino roots. So I'm just grateful that I get to interview just some amazing celebrities, some amazing influencers, and tap into those moments of adversity that they went through, because we see people in the public eye and think, oh, their life is perfect. They've never gone through anything. They're an overnight success. And I get to talk to them and really get down to the core of life lessons and what they've learned and how they navigated through those moments of adversity, and how they push forward and how did they obtain the success in their life. Where are they at and as being a student of life, because we're all students. I think the moment you graduate, you're no longer here. You've left to another place. And I just really feel that when we could tap in and learn from other people, there's just a sense of gratitude and being humble, of saying, you know what, my life isn't as bad as I thought it was. What can I do differently? How can I really use these emotions to propel forward and just create something amazing? Because at the end, we're the creators of our destiny and we are responsible for our own lives. Nobody else is responsible for your life but you.
Yeah. Get off the comfy couch and go and make a difference.
Yeah.
Live in your purpose. That's like, the hamster wheel of life. So many people are on that hamster wheel doing the same thing all over and over and over and not happy.
Yeah. But, if you're not happy, ask yourself why, without being a victim of it. Why am I not happy? And then what can I do different? I mean, don't sit on the couch and complain and criticize everybody else while they're doing something and then just wallow in being a victim or not taking responsibility or just complaining. If you like to complain and you want to shift, stop complaining and ask yourself, what can I do right now in the next 24 hours that would make me a happier person? And you will see that if you do that one thing, that one step, how the energy will change, how you'll start attracting more people into your life, how your family will want to spend time with you, how people will just notice. You'll start getting automatically, and it's not because you want to get that, but you'll automatically start seeing how people react differently. What's going on? You seem so much happier. Like, you just seem like you're such a better place because you're doing things that make you happy. And you can only give from a cup that's full, not from a cup that's empty.
Oh, yeah. That's like what I love that one. You can't pour from an empty cup. So are you a fan of Law of Attraction, all of Abraham Hicks?
All of that. Yeah, I love Abraham Hicks. Dr. Wayne Dyer for me God. He was an amazing, beautiful soul. The way that he would speak, everybody's like, who's your inspiration? Like Dr. Wayne Dyer, like rest in peace. Like I still get chills. Like I remember, like my book Manifested really comes from just listening to the things that he would step on stage and how there's just a sense of peace and knowing and spirit with him. And he just talked so gracefully in a language that I understood and I connected with. And he would give me like this faith and like this assurance that everything happens for a reason. And a lot of it, I'm thankful that there's a lot of life lessons that I've gotten through different leaders, different people that like inspirational human beings, people that have done some amazing things. And those people, like I said, when you're ready, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear and the teacher comes into forms.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What was the last show that he did? He did a documentary. Do you remember what it was? He was walking outside, really calm.
Yes. Ellen DeGeneres' wife was on it with him. It was out on the beach. Is that the one that you're talking about?
Yeah.
In his house. Yes. I remember. And then they also what's the name of that one? But it was one of his last documentaries that I really remember watching. And it was just really kind of like, it was seeing him walk in peace and just knowing that his life, he was exactly where he needed to be.
Yeah.
He was exactly where he needed to be. And I remember, for me, the moment that I remember Dr. Wayne Dyer's being on stage and he talks about how he manifested his book, that he saw it. He saw the cover of it first, and then the inspiration of what was inside would follow. He always saw it as a finished product, and he'd be thankful for that. He'd walk in gratitude, and he saw it as a finished product, and then everything, all the inspiration for everything that he was to write would come. and that he would wake up early in the morning when everything was quiet and he would
Mm.
start writing. And that's when he was inspired. He lived an inspired life. And
Yeah.
it was just, and then on his birthdays, how he would go out and give money. Because the more you give, the more you get. Like he would always come from a place of giving, and just how he was spirit led, and just to come into that place where you could, just the knowing that spirit is there.
Mm-hmm. That is the best part, is that he just was an abundant, beautiful, giving, calm agent. But that's what I did when I wrote my book. I would get up at like 4 a.m. when it was
Yeah.
super quiet, and just like I did it automatically without setting an alarm. It just happened. And I say, like, find something that lights you up so much that you jump out of bed every morning excited to take it on.
Absolutely. And you know what? In those moments, that's when you could really hear spirit. When that flows, it's just, you just start flowing. You start flowing with inspiration. You start flowing with ideas and thoughts. And it's like writing, I feel, is therapeutic. That's why I think also the importance of journaling is so important. Writing down your thoughts, because it really tells you it's a release. It's an energy release. Just like walking is, writing is very therapeutic. And I don't know. I just think that's exactly why, because when you tell the universe, you tell God that you're ready for a change, you're ready to learn, the TV will pop on and you listen to someone's conversation, or someone will be speaking, like it just happened when Dr. Wayne Dyer would pop up and I'm like, I didn't know he had a special tonight. I'm going to sit down and watch. Or you turn on the radio and someone's talking about something and it triggers something. You're like, oh, Spirit is talking to me. Like they're letting me, God is letting me know he's listening to me. Or you walk into the market and you hear someone's conversation and it captures your attention. It's like, hello, you're being guided. You are being guided.
Mm-hmm.
The answers are there. It's just, are you listening and are you willing to take action?
Yeah, that's cool. So what 3 words of wisdom would you tell the women that are listening to the show today?
God, 3 words of wisdom. Everything happens for a reason. The revelation will always come later. Do the inner healing, and the success and the abundance and the love will eventually come. You have to heal what's going on inside to get to the other side. And last but not least is, it's okay to say no. Say no to toxic relationships. Say no to opportunities that don't serve you. Say no to the people that are just taking and wasting your time. Say no to things that you don't want in your life. It's okay to say no. You are not here to please everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those are the biggest things that I've learned throughout my life. Those are life lessons that for me have been very empowering, because saying no showed me that my voice mattered. Doing the inner healing taught me how to forgive and let go. And just standing on my own and declaring who I was. I mean, those are all just things that are just intertwined, that just take you through life, being faithfully guided, knowing that I wasn't alone, that I needed help, and I couldn't ask anybody because I was afraid to. God help me, guide me, show me the way. I need you. I can't no longer, like, be here with me. I need you. Like, I have no one to run to. So if that's something that you're going through right now, I just say, stay in faith. Ask for help. And if you don't want to ask for someone else's help, ask God to guide you. And I promise you that when you say it with all your heart, it's as simple as, God, help me. I can't. I'm tired. I can't. He will show up for you. He will definitely show up for you.
You're making me cry.
Oh,
That's so lovely. That is just so lovely and so true. And so people forget it all the time, you know? I'm in an Angel Academy class that is amazing. That we are really focusing on, you know, our spirit guides and that whole angelic etheric realm. And the stuff that is coming out of that is unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super
We'll
fun.
keep doing the work you have. I mean, definitely, I think there's grace that's given to you. And I think it's wonderful that you're tapping into your angels and tapping into spirit, and that you're going to be guided to be exactly where you are. And to be able to do something like this opens up the door to impact people's lives. Even if you impact one, you're doing the work. That's what it's about. It's being a light and invitation to others to step into and find the healing and find the way when they feel lost. Because sometimes we feel lost and we just need a little bit of guidance. Sometimes we want to make a decision and we're scared to, because we don't know what's next. We're afraid of the unknown.
Yeah, we just need love. That's what it is.
Yeah.
My
We want
mantra, love,
Yeah.
joy, peace. That is the 3.
At the core, we want to be loved. That's all we want. We want to be loved.
Oh, you're
It's
so
as simple
cute.
as that. That creates so many God, so many people push and pull, and at the end, it's like we're all human beings, and we all have good within ourselves. Sometimes we just make stupid decisions, and we hurt people that we love without knowing. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's human.
Yeah, that's awesome. So where can people find you?
You could find me at rosiemercado.com, on social media at Rosie Mercado. You could get my book, The Girl with Self-Esteem Issues, in English and Spanish, wherever you purchase books, Amazon, Target, Amazon, Target, Barnes & Noble, wherever you purchase books, it's in English and in Spanish. So I'm excited about that message. And this really is an invitation to step into your greatness, know that you're worthy, that you're lovable, and that it is your life. You are responsible in creating your destiny, and that you're worthy. You're worthy. You could have it all. You are perfectly imperfect, and the revelation will come after the pain. I promise you, you do the inner work, you will find healing. And you can also listen to my podcast, The Girl with Self-Esteem Issues, where we talk about moments of adversity that pushed us forward, and I get to talk to some amazing people, and it's in English and Spanish, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. You are beautiful inside, outside, and I just love your message, and so thankful that you actually were able to heal yourself, so now you're healing others.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. God bless you. Favor and grace. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. That was a wonderful interview, and she brought me to tears, so I hope you enjoyed the show. Please go check out our book, The Girl with Esteem Issues, and check out our podcast as well, because we need to realize that so many of us have a story, and we start here to end up climbing our own individual mountain. So if she can do it, so can you. Please share this episode with a friend. Make sure that you leave us a rating and review on iTunes so more people can listen to the valuable wisdom from our awesome guest, and we will see you on the next show. This podcast contains the opinion and thoughts of its host and guests. It is intended to provide helpful and informative material on the subjects covered. All statements made on the podcast have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. If the listener requires professional assistance or advice, please contact your personal medical doctor. Both host and guest specifically disclaim any responsibility for any liability, loss, or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence directly or indirectly of the use and application of any of the contents of these episodes. Like I said, this is my opinion, and I could be wrong.